to Jeff Hurst, the trailer looking at Billy Bones. Down Old West Ham United, we celebrate our victories, we stick together in defeat. I'm proud of our history, West Ham United, more than just a podcast, more than just a podcast.
Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to More Than Just a Podcast. There you go, that was full of vigour there.
I'm very energetic.
That was
I'm just about awake.
That sums up Sunday's game as well.
That's our Sunday review done.
Yeah, that was it, done. Yeah, we got beat people, you could tell.
Time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the interesting bit. It's just myself, Shedman here, sitting in his shed, half empty, because I'm reconfiguring it. So I need to create more space and be a bit cleverer with what I do. So it's sort of like a junkyard at the moment. And I'm joined by my good mate, Lord Leonard of Canning Town. How you doing, Len?
I'm all right. Like I said, tired, overheating. Yeah, but I'm fine. No, in good fettle.
Yeah,
Too early for football, isn't it?
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
I get it. People go, "Oh, I'm so glad." Football don't go away now, though.
No.
And me, I love me cricket, and I like me golf. Watching me golf, I love watching me cricket. And the hundreds just started, and we got the Test match against the South Africans to come, and then you got football, and it's like, you know, that can take a back seat for now, if I'm being truthful. Even though I couldn't wait to get there Sunday, even though luck, which was quite handy really, because I had to wait to get there, the bleeding transport system. But enough about that. We were back over to Stratford on Sunday, the pair of us.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah. Both coming from different parts of London, both seemingly stuck in getting there. Oh, how did you find it?
Well, it was just a fucking nightmare from start to finish. I mean, I left 5 hours before to get there. It was too hot already, but you got there. The supporters club got let down by the people at the last drop. So I was one of them knocked out of there. Tired and not nowhere to go. 2 hours before kick-off, so we got in the ground. Eventually got in the ground with NFC. Got on my seat because that was the only place where I could sit. Got too hot in the sun. The worst of the football that weren't particularly great. We looked like we're still not ready to start yet. And left 20 minutes early because I thought I was getting sunstroke. And I went back to the supporters club. That was shut again. Then I went home. Oh, man. Stratford's back. I mean, for two of us, yours wasn't much better, let's be honest.
No.
But for two, if you're a local regular fan, you don't seem to it don't really work for you. Great if you go to the events once in a while. A lot of families there and not tourists. Nothing wrong with that, but they get there early, make a day of it. Well, even more of a day of it than we do. They seem to enjoy themselves, but it's a bit of a curse for us, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a club record crowd.
Yeah.
Let's get that out of the way. And there was a lot of people there.
There was a lot of people there.
And the weird thing about it, for me with Stratford, is that the more people, you can tell the more congested it is.
You can't you?
It's not a good place to get out of. Funny enough, when you think of everything that they said, without going down off a tangent as much, when you think of everything that said, the one thing going for it was supposed to be its accessibility. Actually, that's become a bit of a chore, isn't it?
Yeah. And what I have noticed, of course, in the last 10 years of Upton Park, I went to Stratford anyway. I took the train into Stratford and took the bus, one of two buses to Upton Park. The bus took 10 minutes. It was actually a quicker journey and not what I'm faced now, when now it's in Stratford. because the walk is just as long, and getting in's longer. The pub's a bit further away. Yeah, but I notice what you're saying. You do see the extra people. We lost a pub as well. I think we lost it last year. The Builders Arms. That's gone now.
that was gone last year.
Gone last year, wasn't it? I remember walking around that way now. I was looking for different places, but I failed. But there's not a lot of places for people to go where they've got an appetite to get more and more people in. Who seem to be sort of like a family ticket or lots of tourists there. Lots of tourists.
Yes, yeah. It's have we become a tourist club?
Yes.
Do you think?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I did notice it, and I'll tell you why. I have to walk past the ticket office.
Yeah.
So
they're picking the tickets
I come up from basically from the Carpenters.
Yeah.
Cross over where that bridge is next to Sports Club and the Helter Skelter.
Yeah.
And I've got to go left past the away fans.
Yeah.
So you walk past the ticket box and you just see them all staring at their tickets, their paper tickets and everything else. How did your NFC work?
Didn't, first of all.
Didn't, no.
It did eventually.
Yeah. I downloaded.
Get a little bit better.
I downloaded. I'm going to apply for a card.
Oh, good.
See what we can do there, and then I took the download option. I didn't want to ask about with it, especially since I'd emailed and complained. Which, for those that don't know, I emailed. There is a benefit sometimes to being Sean's mate.
I think you should take credit for all this. To be honest. I think you struck the, what do they call it? Oh, the French word, the coup de grace.
Yeah. Well, it was obviously the club were trying to tough it out. They were saying you could apply for a card, but they did put the word in. If you read all their bump, when they talk about the cards, they did slot the word in accessibility.
I don't know what that means.
Well, I think that means the accessibility bit is they're disabled, basically. So what they were saying is people that need access help in their part of their accessibility team.
Well, that was me Sunday.
Well, yeah, could apply for a card.
Could happen to anyone. People
were emailing, asking for cards, and they were getting the same email. Oh, we don't do them.
Yeah.
So, sometimes Sean can be, he loves to share what he does with us.
Yeah.
And that includes emails to certain people where he may leave their email address on.
Yeah.
And sometimes
we may sell it.
Yeah. Sure, yeah. To be fair, honestly, it's one of them things where I've not passed it on because I think that's wrong. And, I wouldn't want...
The very special occasions.
Yeah, and I don't overuse it.
No.
But I thought this was worthy. So I just thought there were so many people up in arms about it. I thought I would tug on Dave Sullivan's heartstrings. And the funny thing is, I didn't know if it had worked.
All the moths come out when you tugged.
Yeah. Well, it didn't. But so I just thought I'd send him an email, explain to him the situation, how it affects a lot of people that the club may not have thought about. And, I admitted that actually, I have got a smartphone, but I don't believe in the technology.
No, me either.
And then I didn't know if he'd read it, but the next day I got an email from the head of ticketing asking for my contact details. So, and then, of course, the next day after that, all of a sudden, you can download your ticket. And then they're backtracking and they're issuing cards, and they're issuing cards without photos. I weren't happy because the reason why I didn't apply for a card originally because they wanted a photo. And the funny thing is, I've still got the leaflets. We had a protest in the late 80s saying no to ID cards.
Yeah.
And when Thatcher was Prime Minister and they wanted to bring every football fan, they wanted to have a photo ID from what club they were from. And in this country, we've never really had that. It's not like abroad where you have to carry an ID card. In this country, you don't have to carry your driving licence. There's no law It says you have to carry an ID card, so I can't see why. And I just felt it was a back doorway of doing that. So I weren't happy with the cards, but cards are coming out without photos on, so I thought I will give it a go this week and see where it goes. But it was funny because I've downloaded my ticket. It took the bloke in front of me 10 times to figure out. It's possible it could have been him as well. He didn't know how an NFC worked. So he was waving his phone everywhere, up and down the whole lot.
Yeah, that was like me.
And what I didn't realise is that, I think I read it today, I think Chris Mills put a post up on Facebook. Sorry, Chris Miles, not Chris Mills. Chris Miles put a post up on Facebook saying that your NFC on an iPhone is the top corner, but on a Samsung, it's in the middle.
Yeah, but that didn't work either because I did that and I had to push it up and down. He showed me how to do it. And I thought, well, I know my NFC is the top left. I know it is. But there you go.
The funny thing is, I went straight in my barcode because the steward went to tell me, oh, you got to do it. And I went, put it in. I went, I know what I'm doing. And walked in.
Yeah.
You know, so the barcode system, it works better than the NFC.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about it is if you think back pre-pandemic, we never seemed to have the queues. We got the turnstiles. Really. Everybody had a card. You just put the card in the slot. You didn't have to wave your phone about or put it, you know, when you give... When there's so many different ways now of getting in instead of the one way when we all had a card.
Yeah.
Now, when I spoke to Nicola Key, he had a ticket in.
You spoke to her in the end?
Yeah, she called me.
Oh, but what she say that you ruined her week?
No, she was very polite. Very polite.
Wow, yeah.
You know,
tell very much in between her legs.
Yeah,
I imagine.
you know, she'd obviously had the email that I'd sent to Dave Sullivan. Dave Sullivan had forwarded it to her. And had asked her to contact me, to assure me, and to go through my concerns, which was very nice of her to do that. Yeah. So she did ring me. Some of it I got, some of it I understood. You know, some of it is, and it is possible. COVID has not gone away. It could come back in the winter to bite us on the bum. For all we know, you know, come January, the government may have to say too many COVID running round. Football may have to take a back seat, or football fans, or restrict, you know, mass use of fans. And what they're saying is, with an NFC, it makes it easier for you might not be able to sit in your season ticket seat. So if they cut the restriction by 2/3, so they say only 20,000 can come. So you go every third game, and you'd have to spread you about. You probably won't sit in your season ticket seat. And what they're saying is, with an NFC, they can easily change it.
Yeah, but you can do that with the other codes as well. But it doesn't update on your half of the device.
No, yeah. So
it is good in that way.
So that bit I did give her credit for.
Was that what she said?
That's what she said, yeah.
Right.
So, you know, which I understood. I did find it funny when she was saying, well, football's going away from cards and whatever. She said she's a season ticket holder at Aston Villa. Well, we knew that anyway. Yeah. And that she still hasn't received her card yet. So they've had delays getting them out. It's difficult to get hold of the cards. I've not heard that, even though I'm in the industry. I've not heard that. No. Less plastic's good for the environment.
We don't have to be plastic because I made that last
Well,
year.
yeah, I'll give them that at the end of the day, but plastic, you know, generally an access control card is. But then again, you didn't have to renew them every year. We could have had the same card for, you know, and until you lost it.
That we used to have.
Yeah, that we used to have. And I did, in the end, I had to point out to her that I am in the industry, so I do know how the stuff works.
Yeah. I mean, it's got its advantages, and people who want one should be encouraged to have one, but there should be a choice.
And that's
there is now.
Exactly the point that I made to her, that actually let's just say, you might have 3,000 that apply for a card. That's and it is possible. Perhaps they've done it now. They've relented, but maybe it's something next season where they say, look, if you want a card, you can have one. It's £10.
Yeah.
And I would
make it a collectible one.
Yeah,
as well.
people will pay it. I think people that want a card would pay the £10 for the And I explained to her, I am, I have got the technology to do it. I don't do it. I don't want to do it. And also, what I did play heavily on to Dave Sullivan in our email is the emotional attachment to that card.
I told her that, not the other one.
It is a silly thing. In a way, it is a silly thing. Yeah. But, there's a reason why when I posted a picture of all my collection, that so many people came back and went, I've kept all mine. Yeah. Because it is that emotional attachment. You look at it and you go, cool, weren't that a good season? Yeah. It's a trigger, happy memories. I'm not going to throw my phone in that box, am I? Nah. Do you want to see my season ticket from 2023? Yeah, Apple. Yeah. It's just... Yeah. So, I mean, look, who knows? I did actually send Sullivan a link to the Amers United petition as well, online petition. I sent him the link. What was the final result? I think they hit nearly 4,000. But I mean, they be more than that. Well, I did, but I mean, they did well in the first 24 hours. I think they nudged 3,000. And that's what I said to him. Have a look. There's over 3,000 here straight away that have signed this. Yeah. So, I get it. There were people going, well, I don't have a problem with it. And I was pleased for them. If you're happy using your phone, that's good. Yeah. Don't let me think. I mean, I know things, it's not the way I want it, but there's a lot of good stuff going on there for people who like that type of thing. Yeah. What I'm just saying is the regular local guy who likes the old-fashioned football experience, not even the old-fashioned football experience, just your localish regular football experience, there's nothing there. But there's plenty, with these NFCs, you can increase fan engagement and do things over it, which they should be doing now, and encouraging people to use it and enjoy it, and reward them for using it and enjoying it if they think it's such a great thing. Well, reward people. Then. The one thing where my scepticism comes in, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist or whatever it is, I still find it funny because my son-in-law had to work, so he couldn't go to the game. That they've emailed again saying, we noticed you've not downloaded your NFC. And you're thinking, so Yeah, of course I do. That's what it's all about. And this is the thing, and this is what I don't... This is the part where it's probably silly that I don't like it. I just don't like that they know that. Yeah. I don't think they need to know that. Anything with your phone like I showed you today, wasn't it? Yeah. It's just... Say anything. Yeah. Yeah. And it will recommend something for you to buy similar to it. Yeah. Or whatever, So that... Well, look, at the end of the day, I will say, well done for changing it. I know there was early teething troubles. A few people I know with the cards, turns out their cards didn't work. That could have been perhaps the speed they got the cards out. They didn't program them properly. But anyway, people missed the kick-off and whatever. Hopefully by, what's the next game? Brighton at home? Oh, God, that don't get any easier, does it? No. So hopefully by Brighton at home, it'll all be sorted. Yeah. So we've now got into the ground finally. Yeah. And we're going to talk about the banter barrier or go to... Well, no, we can... Yeah. The old bowling... What can we call it? The new bowling wall? Rather than the Berlin Wall. That's not a bad one. The new bowling wall. Where do you... I mean, there's a bit of me when I see it. So let's go with the reconfiguration. I'll throw you over to the wall. Well, I mean, from my side, I didn't even see the wall. Yeah. So it didn't look too much different to me. And if there was a change, I couldn't quite put my finger on what it was. But, Well, it was explained to me that there is a change and the gap has been made smaller. But the gap that's made smaller, and when it was explained to me, I was like, oh yeah, I see it now. The gap that's smaller is the gap between the back of the lower tier and the front of the upper tier. It's the concourse between there that's been made smaller. They go back a bit further. They've either changed the rake a little bit or they've raised it up a bit, because the disabled, the concourse level now, or the walkway level at the back of the west lower, is higher. So the disabled people's views are not blocked by people standing up.
Okay.
So there's
Did
that.
it feel
That's a win.
a bit more compact from when you were sitting? Because it possibly looked a little bit more...
It was weird. Yeah, looking down. So I looked down over block, the trouble block, let's call them. Is it 114, 113? 114, I think they are.
I think it's 114, yeah.
So 114 and 113, them blocks. That's generally where, next to the away fans, even though there was a big gap. And I've never understood that. You got the Trevor Brook in lower, who are next to the away fans as well, and you never see any trouble there.
No.
It's always seems centred on that lower west corner.
Yeah, a bit of a different clientele.
Yes, I think it is. So, I mean, at the end of the day, how they've done it, I don't know. So they've managed to fit in a few thousand extra seats there. They've changed the rake. They've in the corners, they go back further. There's more rows in the corners, further back as well. So they've done it that way. But to be honest, it didn't really change the feel of the ground.
No.
I didn't feel a connection with the lower tier at all. It didn't change anything. But obviously, what did change is the big claret wall.
Yeah.
So you didn't notice it then?
Well, not until I saw the photo. Because I'm looking straight at it from the side. That makes it look kind of skinny, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I ain't got the perspective of the face of the wall. I've got the side of the wall. But when I saw it, I just thought, wow. I mean, that is... that's a decision of someone who really isn't into football, isn't it? Who's come up with that.
Well, there's part of me that thinks whether this has been brought on. So obviously what the lower tier reconfigures is, it's totally new seating. It's been made a different way. It's easy to dismantle, so it saves them money in costs and time of taking it apart and everything else. It also then enabled them to block this ending. Now, the problem with this end is the West and the away fans is generally there's a lot of stuff thrown each game. It generally descends, you get bottles and everything flying both ways. But, West Ham fans don't hold back when they throw their stuff into the away fans, and it will trigger the away fans to launch stuff back. And, I've seen it, not at our ground, I've seen it at other grounds, like the damage a full bottle can do if it smacks you in the face.
Yeah, that is true.
And generally, it probably hits the person in the face that's not partaking in whatever's going on. It will hit some random. So there's a part of me thinks...
How have we gone this far without having a ball?
Well, and this is the thing. I don't think they needed the wall to stop things being thrown. They could have put a net. They could have put a big net up. So you could
put sponsorship on a net though.
No, yeah, that's true. Thanks. I know I'm not lost that much weight, but still, easy.
I might be catching you up. Barbecue season, Jesus Christ.
Mate, yeah. Someone did ask me, am I worried?
Jabba the Hutt.
And I turned around and went, worried? I went, I couldn't give a monkey's if he weighs more than me or not. It's his downfall, isn't it? It's his little thing. He come up with it.
Yeah, he's the
paranoid one. Yeah.
You've got nothing to prove.
No, I've been a tub all my life. Yeah. So anyway, I don't think that was the answer. That was a cheap, ill thought out. They're sitting there. What can we do? This discussion's gone on, and someone's come up with, well, what if they can't see the away fans? Out of sight, out of mind. It's almost like we build a wall, they won't notice they're there.
Yeah.
You know, and you think, how stupid are you? The funny thing is, a bottle still got launched into the away fans.
Oh, wow.
So,
But now it's just blind.
yeah, now it's just... You just
Using the
literally-
SP. There's someone geez over there. I know. I just know he's putting funny faces at me and giving me the bird.
Yeah.
I'm that confident.
I'm
I'm going to put a bottle right on his nut.
I mean, for me, how do you stop people throwing things? Well, one, I don't know. It seems stop all drinks being taken into the area, but I don't think that'll happen. Two, I would have said put a big net up between the fans, and you could have put the net up in the tunnel that divides them, so people can't swing from the net either. Three, I don't know, better CCTV so you can pick the people out when they do it. It's just sledgehammer to crack a nut, isn't it?
Walnut, yeah.
It was such a small part of the game as well, though.
Yeah.
But I think from that area, you know, the stadium controllers will probably pat themselves on the back, you know, or we got less trouble down there. But it does take something away from the game. You know, the first game to really grip you at the London Stadium was the Chelsea League Cup game.
Yeah.
And it weren't for the football, because it all got a bit lively.
Yeah.
And we need that. You know, football is not... We're not rugby. We're not... You know, we don't all sit together. You know, I don't have a problem with individual away fans. As long as they sit down, shut up. I wouldn't want to...
Yeah,
I wouldn't have half a dozen of them, I must admit. You know, if it's the oddies, it don't bother me. But generally, the reason why we have an home and away end is that they're there, we're here, and if you're on the seg line, you know what you're going to get. So, I don't know. Well, I'd say I don't know what the answer is. That's there. That's going to stay. It ain't going to go.
No, that's not going.
It's part of the.
I think that's a success.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They'll be slapping themselves on the
Yeah.
back, going, "Only one bottle got launched. You've done well, people." And what I noticed is as well with the wall. You know what I noticed? Less stewarding down there, so less manpower.
Yeah.
When it was
Didn't
open,
look like it.
they'd have the yellow coats standing along, because they had originally there was seating there, which they'd left, and then they just netted it off. Well, all that seating's gone. So now what you got is you got the block 113, you got the aisle, then you got a wall, then you got dead space, like a glass wall by the aisle, dead space with the odd steward there. Then you've got the new bowling wall. Or the London wall, perhaps we should call it.
Maybe.
The
They'd
new
like that,
London,
wouldn't
the
they?
new London wall. A bit of me's like, don't like calling it bowling. Actually,
We'll
It's like-
think of something
Yeah.
a bit more derisory.
perhaps the listeners come up with a name for the wall.
Yeah, I come up with a Banterbury. They got a lot of likes on Twitter
Oh, right.
off of Sean's post.
Oh, right.
Very popular post, considering he wasn't even fucking there, reporting on the stadium.
And he's Nick Dodds's photos.
Of course he has. But Doddsy was a fool to send them to him.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. He's probably sold them. I've noticed some of these football banter pages and away days, they've all been using the same photo.
Yeah. There's nothing more popular than us fucking embarrassing ourselves.
No.
That's how I found it down there, to be honest. Didn't have TVs on either to watch the other game. I have to get in there early, no TV on.
All right.
Come on, West Ham. Fuck, do it. For fuck's sake, do it for fucking football
Well,
fans.
they want the thing about it. Well, I mean, the thing about it is they want people to go in early,
Well, it don't feel like it.
but then you pay the price now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you do stop the what you can do about the price rises. And that's the thing. The bar looked emptier, funny enough. The queue for the bar looked less. But there was a lot of people in the ground half hour before kick-off. But then and the problem with it is because there's such a lack of anywhere to drink around the stadium's always going to look welcoming, isn't it? to a section of the fan base who will just pay the money.
Yeah.
You know, even if 10% buy a beer, that's 6,000 people.
Yeah. It's not our football. It's not a game anymore, mate.
No.
Don't feel like West Ham anymore.
What did you think of the game?
It felt like it was too soon. It felt like we desperately need to freshen things up. We need a different idea. It was all just picking up from last year, and don't get me wrong, we had a great performance from them last year, and we started brightly, a couple of minutes. Don't get carried away myself. And then it was just sort of, well, we got no pace or no creativity to open anything. It was just a matter of time before, you know, we kind of buckled, which was inevitable.
Yeah.
And they're an incredible side. Let's give them some credit. But we just didn't look like we needed a few more players. Samaka was the highlight coming on. Looked like could do it. I'm sure when Cornet comes on, we've got something else down the other side. So we've got two wingers that can, you know, open things up, because it's very rigid at the minute. It desperately needs livening up.
Was it disappointing to see that no new signings started the game?
No, it wasn't a shock. So I won't say I'm disappointed, because I knew we know it's coming. It's not, and I just think it was the inevitable thing that was going to happen, especially when you consider it was Man City as well. It was Man City so early in the season, and we weren't really ready. We don't look ready. And when we get these new players in, we won't be ready even again, because this is going to be kind of a new system. Because unless we get a set piece, there's no real threat. And there will be when Cornet comes in and Samaka's there creating a bit of trouble. You know, the effect of that when that happens as well, the reaction to that. So it's gonna be a tough game at the weekend, tough opponents, tough place to go at that time of the season. But, you know, we should have enough to sort of see that out. But we certainly didn't have enough Sunday.
Yeah.
What about you? What did you think?
Yeah, no. For me, I thought City weren't playing with us, but they were finding out that they've got to change the way they play. And it may seem a bit mad to say this, but they've not had a striker. So last year, you know, we were all going, well, we ain't got a striker, and a lot of fans just go, well, neither's Man City. Well, now they have.
Yeah.
And they've bought, for me, I've watched a lot of him at Dortmund.
Yeah.
And they've bought possibly, he could go on to be one of the greatest strikers of his time.
Yeah.
Well, I think he will be the greatest striker of his time. Where he stands in the pantheon in the game, we'll see at the end of his career. Yeah. But his goal scoring, I mean, if last year was his worst, I think, in Bundesliga, and it was 29, and that was his worst return. So you think that just shows, I think he's had 40 goals, and I think even when he turned up in the first 6 months, I think he got 15 or something stupid like that at Dortmund. So he is a goal-scoring machine. He does the same for Norway. And he's best at when he's running onto the ball. So he don't want all this tippy-tappy stuff and the ball laid into his feet. He wants the ball put into space in front of him. And his power and pace is electric for a big, what is he? I think he's 6'5". You know, his pace is deceptively fast for someone that big, and you can just see he just glides onto the ball, and then the quality in his finishing for me second to none. Yeah. I thought he'd be a big star in the Premier League.
Oh, he's big, all right.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Nelson Muntz in The Simpsons. He's like scaled up, bigger than all the other kids in the play, but everything's scaled up, proportionate.
Yeah. It's it just but see, if you get what I'm saying is, Man City for the last couple of years haven't had that, so they've not played that way. They've
No.
pass. They pass you to death.
Yeah.
And in a way, it's a coin of phrase, it can be a bit boring at times.
Yeah.
The control, the control and the passing is second to none. But for God's sake, do it. Have a shot at some point. They wanted to walk the ball into the box at times. It seems. What we're getting now is they've got to learn to play to Haaland's strength, because he will score goals. And
Definitely.
I think once De Bruyne is putting more balls in, like he did, then it will. I can see him getting 35 to 40 goals this season if he stays fit.
We'd love something like that, wouldn't we? Hey?
Yeah, I mean,
David
yeah.
Cross.
Just imagine, if we did have, and this is the thing that baffles me about West Ham, and this is why I love it when it's just me and you, because we can go off on a tangent, is if you look at this transfer window, if you look, I wrote an article last night that went out today, and some about the game, some about Forest, and some I covered the next couple of games, so covered the Man City game, but then about Brighton, and people may not realise, Brighton, look what they did against Man United. He's built a decent team there. In the last year or 14 months, I think, he sold £120 million worth of defenders.
Moises or
No.
You mean
Potter.
Pep?
No, Potter.
Oh right,
Brighton.
Sorry.
We got Brighton coming up after Forest. And when you look at the transfer window, we've not got any money for anyone, have we? Even though it looks
don't.
like we might be getting some money for Vlasic.
Yeah, but only 15 million.
Yeah. But
I don't know. I just saw it a second ago. That was all.
Yeah. So what we got here going on is that we're paying a penalty now for the transfer dealings of the club from 3 to 5 years ago, where they just bought the wrong players for the wrong amount of money with no future sell-on fee. We've let go. How many players have we let go in total? 8. And I think we've raised about $500,000 so far in transfer fees. The thing I'm getting at is, we ain't every season. We're not going to have 150 million to spend, because it could be that we could spend 120 million this window and stand still. But West Ham's not a club that generates that money. It can't do that. They've put the price of a pint up £1. That don't go in West Ham's pocket. That goes into Delaware North's pocket. When you spend that extra £1, they've put the beer up in Tottenham, if they have, that money goes into Tottenham's pocket. Tottenham are getting $1 million a game just from catering. This is the thing where you got to be cleverer in the transfer market, in the type of players that we buy. How can Brighton buy this Cucurella 1 year and sell him for 60-odd million the next?
I think they paid too much, actually.
Well, there's a story doing the rounds that who was it? I don't know if it's Chelsea are preparing to bid for another player, and it's like 80 million for it's for a centre back, and it's like, they're saying it's going to dwarf what Van Dijk went for, and I think it's a defender at another. I've forgotten who it was at another Premier League club. And that was the story coming out today, that it looks like they're going to bid this. And you're thinking, well, why does no one ever do that to West Ham?
I know.
Because we never buy the right players, do we?
No. People don't want our players.
So, hopefully, we under Newman, it will change. But I don't see it at the moment. I don't see it. If you look at Maxwell Cornet, not knocking him, how old is he? So,
I don't know, mate.
Well, I think he's 28.
Is he?
So,
Well, we're not paying a lot for him in the grand scheme of things.
so perhaps Skamaka. The only thing with me, Skamaka, is I thought he was the highlight for me for West Ham.
Definitely.
I think that he'll get better movement as he grows into a game. He'll learn to hold up, don't go too early. Fantastic header. I think any other keeper it would have gone in. Yes, he was offside, but he didn't know he was offside when he moved into the space and headed the ball, did he?
When was this header?
This was.
Was I in the ground?
Possibly not.
Oh, it don't sound like
Possibly
it.
not.
He headed on a good. Well, a straight ball wasn't a good straight ball.
No,
Too
this was
straight.
in the penalty area.
Yeah.
It sort of leapt at the penalty spot area. Ball came across from the right, and he's headed it, and he's got it down on the floor. Ederson's stopped it from going in, pushed it out, but then the flag went up for offside. So the signs are there that he could be a top draw. Perhaps he is the 15 goals. I don't know about 20, but perhaps he's the 15 goal a season we've wanted. The only thing with us is Italian strikers, not many young Italian strikers come into the Premier League and do well.
No, can't think of any.
So the best Italians to play in the Premier League,
The old Italians, the
Yeah.
Ravanellis and your Zolas.
yeah, and your Vialis and your Di Canios.
Yeah.
So the ones that had done 10 years playing football in Italy before they came to us. So, at some point there could be an exception to the rule, but maybe that is Skamaka. But, we will see. The one thing I have learnt about him that apparently is his goals to shot ratio was he was the second highest. So if you give him chances, he will, one, get them on target, and two, his finishing rate was up there with the best in Italy. So we'll see. But all in all, the game, I wasn't disappointed. A bit of me thought, I actually did think that we could have got tanked 3 or 4-0. That never looked really on to me, even though we huffed and puffed a bit. The only bright spell really of attacking was the opening 5 minutes. As you said, Bowen had a shot, but that was blocked. Antonio had the header that went over the bar. That was it, really, for attacking prowess.
Talking of Antonio, what a bleeding hell was he left on the pitch? He was proper injured.
Did you? Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I thought it damaged his foot, and I thought, oh, they'll get him into half time and they'll take him off.
He come out
For another 10 minutes.
We've got 5 subs, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've got a sub on the bench.
But you can only make, even though I think Lampard got caught out. Lampard had a couple of injuries, so he made 3 substitutions. But then that's it. While you can bring 5 on, you can only do it in 3 tranches, basically.
Oh, okay.
So you can't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's bring 1 on, 1 off, then you bring 2 on, and then you bring another 2 on.
2 on.
You can't go 1 on, then him, and then save another 1 for like the 90th minute. No, you only get 3 acts at it. So
I didn't know that.
you wouldn't have seen then Connor Coventry and Flynn Downs come on for 2 minutes.
No.
I suppose it's good to give them a run out. I hope they get an appearance fee out of it.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I can't see really what you're going to get. I don't get what you're going to learn. 2-0 down for 2 minutes. But, hey-ho. That's the way of the world. I'll be fair as well. I thought Ben Rahman wasn't too shabby when he came on. He's got his knockers. I think there's a section of the fan base that will be happy if he left. And
do you think that'll happen? Sounds like it.
I don't know, yeah. And it'll be a shame, because in a way, it's almost like, I did see a video of him for Brentford, one, like, obviously video clips. He's in the Championship as well, so you have to take it at face value. But it is almost like we've knocked the creativity out of him. some of the
Yeah.
things he was attempting to do, I could probably see Moyes going, I don't want none of that here, son. So,
Maybe.
and, you know, and if that's the case, then I'd say to Moyes, well, what'd you buy him for?
And he'll say, because Sullivan wanted him.
Well, yeah. Well, so all in all, on to Forest. And I don't know what to make of Forest. I see some of the highlights of their game. They looked abysmal.
Yeah, they did.
Comedy value. The corner, I don't know what you would call that tactic if you were going to give it a name. The no fox in the box. Well, there was no one in the box. Did you see the corner they took? Forest?
No. I tried to think. I saw the game, but...
What they did is that their bloke went to take the corner and they had no players in the box.
What was that?
And then, like
Gee.
school kids, as he crosses the ball, 6 of them run into the box, all in one line. For the keeper to just catch the ball, go, thank you very much. And the funny thing about it is the 6 have all run in, haven't they? So as the keeper's coming the other way, they've now got to run on them on a break. I get it. It's one of them where if they'd scored from it, Cooper would have been a genius. But when it fouls, you just look like a clown. One aside, I don't know. One thing I didn't realise, Cooper's dad. Do you know who Cooper's Forest manager's father is?
Paul Cooper?
No.
Tommy Cooper.
No, worse. Keith Cooper, the Welsh referee.
Ah.
Yeah. So Cooper's dad was a Premier League referee, I believe. Well, he was a First Division referee, definitely. I'm pretty sure he did. So the older people will remember him, Keith Cooper. I think before Hackett, he ran the Premier League referees as well.
Yeah, rings a bell.
So yeah, which I never knew. It was quite an eye opener to hear that's who he's done. But anyway, we'll see what Forest has done. What they bring to us next week. I'm sure, hopefully we won't be talking about Jesse Lingard because I'm not really bothered, to be fair. And we'll cover that next week. Anything else?
No, not really. Let's move on from
Let's
that.
move on.
Let's move on from Sunday for quite.
Should we talk about transfers?
If you know anything, it's all fresh to me.
Diop looks like he's on his way out. Apparently, the word I got was he was on strike. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but fuck it, I've said it. I think Moyes intimated to the same thing in his press conference. Diop then on Insta put emojis up. Basically, I think was saying chat shit, disputing it. Well, but you weren't playing though, was you, mate? And when we only had one centre half, I thought Johnson Dunno did really well actually. When you only got one centre half fit to play, he would have got a game. So I think it's obvious there's a parting of the ways. It looks like that's a done deal to Fulham. 13 with a couple of million add-ons, or 12 with a couple of 3 million add-ons is
cheap, I think.
Is a figure that I've seen. Well, we paid 21 for him.
Yeah. Worse.
I think we'd only had him a couple of months, and Mourinho was
50 million or something.
singing his praises.
Yeah.
Whoever fanned him,
He's a monster.
Yeah.
And he was. I mean, it's a bit of a strange one.
Yeah. I
Just hasn't done well under Moyes. It's just not his type.
Well, I think and this is the thing. So perhaps it is the right thing to do, parting of the ways. And I've put it down to another one of Pellegrini's we bought and lost money on.
They're disappearing slowly.
Yeah. It's quite strange because if you look at a lot of Pellegrini's buys, they've been out of the club. But then you can look at, the fact is Bilic bought Creswell.
I think Allardyce bought Creswell.
Oh, sorry, Allardyce. Bilic bought Ogbonna and Bilic bought Antonio.
Yeah.
Allardyce bought Creswell. And they're still there.
Yeah, unbelievable.
So, thanks for crediting him. I wouldn't, but but you are right. He was he did sign Creswell. Creswell was joined us.
On Well, they're promotion
20
season.
years, 8 years. 2014 he joined us from Ipswich.
Good servant, really. I mean, I know he's
I don't think
everyone's
he,
joke.
yeah, I don't think he deserves the stick that he's getting. I think it's
He's a long career with us.
yeah, it's not a good look when fans go like that with players. I don't, you know me, I don't like criticising players
No.
for on the pitch unless they're throwing fans about. But I mean, apart from that, it looks like Vlasic is out the door to Torino. We're linked with a whole host of people. So if there's any players that are out of flavour at their clubs at the moment in the Premier League, you can bet your life West Ham's going to be linked with them. We want a centre-back. We want a left-sided defender. And I don't know if he's looking... The funny thing for me is, what's happened to Brozier? Disappeared off of the face of the earth. So
For Chelsea, you mean?
well, yeah. Well, this superstar.
We could still buy him.
Well, that might do us a favour, innit?
Yeah.
Because we might be able to go back and say we give you 10.
Yeah.
Because we don't need him now, do we? But it'd be a good addition, I think. So if you could nick him for 10, 15 million, I think he's worth it. And
I don't seem keen on selling players, though, Chelsea, like loaning them out.
no.
Can't be right, that really.
Well, the thing with Chelsea is, I suppose, they might look at us sitting, 6th, 7th last season as we were a lot, well, 5th as we were a lot. A club on their coattails. Tuchel may see Chelsea are actually on the slide. If you look at the teams that finished top 4 last season, if you're going to say, well, pick one team not to be in the top 4, you're going to go Chelsea. The North London boys look like they've actually got better. A pre-season with Conte and Conte's new players, I hate to say it, will probably improve them. Arsenal will probably improve. So Chelsea could be the ones. The name they might be looking more, we don't want to strengthen West Ham, do we? Just in case. Yeah. So there's that to it. But that's about it, really, for transfers. I don't know if he's back next week from Mexico. And he'll be able to do it. If not, I'll try and do it a bit better justice. But to be honest, neither me or Jay really get hung up on transfers, people. Nah. I know you all love it, but we're old farts.
We was there when Gary Strodder turned up.
Yeah, Paul Hilton.
Yeah.
What's that?
Tommy McQueen. Who's that geezer on the right?
Tommy McQueen. Ralph Milne.
Yeah.
The first one I always remembered was... funny enough, was Tom McAllister, obviously because he was a goalkeeper. So when we signed Tom McAllister, it was 81, 82, so we just got in the first division. Bobby Ferguson retired. So he came in to replace Bobby Ferguson and be deputy to Phil Parkes.
Yeah.
But in one of the books from the era, it might have been the Backers Champions book, if you've got it. It then said it sort of welcomes Tom McAllister or tells us about Tom, and then points out that I think we'd scored 8 goals against him in 3 games.
Yeah,
he'd played for Swindon, I think.
He wasn't their first goalie. I think he was their second or third.
Yeah, some were. I think one was in the reserves as well. So that they looked at the 3 games he'd played for. I think Bristol Rovers might have been one as well. Swindon might have been another. But across the 3 games that we'd played, he'd conceded goals. And yet John Lowell thought, he's the man for me.
Yeah, he'll do. So,
very Paul Hilton-esque, who obviously we did put 12 against in 2 games before signing him. But then again, Paul Hilton got to play up front for us.
What are we talking about?
What would we go to?
We digressed, didn't we?
Yeah, we did a bit.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about transfers.
Yeah.
We're not into that.
No.
We're old. That's right.
So, anything else? Tell us about your day in October.
Day October, 7th of October.
That's it.
In association with E13 Events, we're having a academy night that Alvin Martin is hosting. And it features the 75 youth team and a few of this 1975 first team cup winners as well. and
Tony Carr.
There's Tony Carr. That's right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And Tony Carr, and I'm doing a bit of filming there for my new film that features the 75 youth team. And I'd love you to be there. And again, gives you a chance to appear in the film, have a chat, meet some new people, see some new faces and some new characters. It's the Rust Club in Romford, which is Ian's from E13 events, his favourite venue, I reckon.
It's by far the best. I used to go to the Ex-Hammers magazine shows there.
Yeah, there's something about it. It's really set up well for sort of.
Yeah.
It's got that convention feel about it.
Yeah,
rather than the working man.
It has. It's very close, the intimacy of it.
Yeah,
and I think where it's wide and the stage is on the side rather than at the end. So even sort of towards the back, you're still close to the stage, and the fact that for me, the players seem to mingle more as well in there.
Yeah.
So I remember having a great conversation with Alan Devonshire, who's sitting on a chair at the back, about non-league football. Funny enough.
Yeah, we talked to you all day about non-league football.
Yeah. It was a great conversation we had, and then Julian Dix. First time I heard Julian Dix talk about coaching, and I remember listening to him thinking, "How are you not in football, mate?" Because what he was saying about was just so correct, and it just I think with him, it's probably his face don't fit.
Yeah, they're both two similar people in the fact that they're happy at any level of football, and that's to their detriment. And they haven't taken their badges. I don't know if Julian must have, because he was a bit Slaven, wasn't he? But they're not into that. It's not about being doing it at the top. It's about doing it every day. They're daily football men.
I mean, if you look at Devonshire's record in non-league football, he's took, run-of-the-mill teams into the top division of non-league football and kept them there. Maidenhead, he got them there before. He left them, went to not Billericay. Who was he at? Braintree Town.
That's right.
He took Braintree had never been there. He didn't get them up, but what he did was he kept them up and he kept them in the league. And then he decided, I think after 2 or 3 years, he wanted to go back west, and he went back to Maidenhead. And Maidenhead are still there, and they don't ever challenge to go up. I don't know if they're professional or not, because that's almost like Division 5 now. So it's a success for a team like Maidenhead just to be in that league. When you got the likes of Torquay have fallen lower than that, it just shows you what he does right. And I always remember Julian Dix. I've forgotten where. I think it was Abridge Swifts he went to, bottom of the table in December, and they won the playoffs. You got to have something about you to be able to walk into a club and do that. I don't care what level. He's got a new job now. Is he not in the States now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good luck to him. Good luck.
I think it was his birthday yesterday, because it's Phil Parks' birthday yesterday as well. I've just noticed. Yes,
it was his birthday yesterday. His daughter put a picture up. Great picture of him sitting in a chair with a cigar, with his top off.
Is this Phil or Julian?
No, Julian.
More like Julian.
That was Julian, yeah. No, but his daughter, funny, well, yeah, it was Julian's daughter, and then Phil's daughter did put a picture. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, Parks' birthday. Happy birthday, if you're listening. Legend.
Yeah, absolutely. There we are.
Yeah. Right, so look out for that. And if anybody heard the Lou Murphy podcast that we did, with any luck, Lou will be there as well.
Yeah, Lou will be there.
Yeah, so
and you'll be there, won't you?
I will.
You'll coming?
Yeah, I'm coming, mate.
I think Dell's coming as well.
I did. To be honest, I did forward Ian's message to a few groups.
Yeah,
So
nice.
Get in, boys.
You'll be different this.
Yeah.
It's good. To be honest, a lot of the time you do know what you're getting when you go to these nights. They are a little bit. You have heard it before, but you haven't heard anything of this before.
No.
So,
Well, to be fair, the last one I went to, which was the Alvin Martin one. Alvin did a few stories.
He's good as hell.
Because he never really did it for a while. He weren't on the circuit, as I called it, Alvin.
No, he was doing dinner events, which was different clientele.
Yeah, so you didn't really get to see him in that environment. You know, I'm not saying, but you know, we all know like the Mark Ward story. We know the Tony Cotty's. You know, there's a load of them that always trot out the same.
Yeah.
And once you've seen and heard the stories, you have heard them. I'm not knocking the players themselves, but it's good to hear from
Alvin's
someone
always
different.
conscious of changing his act every time.
Yeah.
Not that he'll need to for this one, because a completely new cast.
Funny enough, I know this may change. The one person, actually, who I would like to see sit down and do it is actually Tony Gow.
What, him be the guest rather than the host?
Because he's never been a guest. One of the first ones I went to was the day Golden Sullivan bought the club. And that was a good one, actually, because that was Ken Brown Sr. But Tony Gow was the host. This was in the Dartford Theatre. And all the ones I've been to, Tony Gow's always been the host, always been the one asking the questions. And yet you never get to hear from his side. When you think of his story, you know, at Fulham, Georgie Best, Rodney Marsh, Bobby Moore, you know, his upbringing in football and then coming to West Ham and then winning the title with Blackburn. So, and how did he feel the day West Ham told him they weren't signing him as he's about to walk out with his kids in his hand for his testimonial? So, right. That's that done.
We did.
Let's move on to this. Yes, people, it's Facebook, Twitter question time, where you, the listeners, answer the question I asked a while ago. And I'm just trying to get it. The bleeding internet in my shed's playing up. Load up the comments. So there's quite a few here. That's good. Oh, I don't know actually. Is it me? Let's bring it up.
We nearly had a guest on this
weekend,
but you kind of disappeared. I had images of you. Can I say about your daughter?
Well, no, but
Right. But you're going to be a granddad soon.
any week now. Well, this week or next week. Yeah.
You're going to be a granddad. So that's a better way of putting it.
Yeah.
And we thought it might have been today.
Yes.
And we thought, well, we're best not dilly-dally with the guest.
No, I get
Because,
it, because we don't want to lose him. He's such a good someone that I want to sit and think where I wouldn't want to miss out talking to him.
No, exactly. So I thought to myself, I know what you want, I know what you like, I know you want to do a bit of homework in your shed.
Yeah.
So I thought if you're, can't do it, I thought I'll keep the powder dry on that.
Yeah, we'll give it a couple of weeks and we'll definitely get him on. But yeah, so I'm guessing this week, if I'm a betting man, I'm a bit disappointed in her, to be honest, because I swore she would go over to the 19th and I would win the sweepstake.
It's 10 days.
You know, she ain't gonna last 10 days. I think my boy's hoping that she goes tomorrow because then he wins.
Okay.
So, a due date was the 16th. So I usually bet 3 days over. They said they'd let it go a week, but it looks like it's coming early. Anyway, earlier, 1 hour ago, recording tonight this week's show, I put Tubby's eating his round Mexico and JB's abroad. You'll find out where he is later. So that leaves possibly 3 of us, maybe 2. Well, it's just
We
the
don't
2
know
of
which
us.
one is. George is.
No, I said JB, not GB.
Yeah, but we
Yeah.
don't know where George is.
No, I don't know where George is. Is he back from the wedding in Devon?
No.
I put, though, it's your part of the show, though, people. Question time is open. First up, Super Chrissy Mills, who
It feels like a winner this week.
yes. Well, let's see, actually, because I've just seen something he's
Right.
put.
Oh, okay.
Evening Gents, he says. Is there anything the club have got right off the pitch so far this season, from the e-ticketing fiasco and the conference tickets overpricing to Brady's wall? Brady's wall. We got the
bad.
starter for a wall already.
Okay, I'll take that.
So we'll go with Brady's wall in the West Stand to the concessions. I know it's not fully them. Absolute shambles. When will the good news start? And do we need to protest the concessions versus Brighton and boycott en masse? Brady out.
Brady out.
He then finished. Well, my plastic card didn't work at the turnstile after the hassle. of
Oh,
getting one.
no.
So there you go. So that's someone different. So it was Adam Levitt, listener of the show. Adam, he'd already told me his cards didn't work, and he had to go and miss. I think he missed the first 15 minutes of the game
Oh, my God.
because he had to go and get printouts. So
Well, why can't he show the card to someone at the door?
well, and that's the thing, isn't it? I don't know. It's like it don't work. Go to the ticket office. There is a way that it works. We all know how it works well. They,
I'll go there.
they don't want to go there. Modern
Yeah.
technology, I did say, Nick, you don't have to embrace modern technology. Not all technology.
No,
Just because the rest of the Premier League's doing it,
doesn't mean we got to do it.
Yeah, well, but the only thing I forgot to ask her was, whose ticketing system is it? Is it West Ham's? Or is it the stadiums?
We know it's West Ham's.
So, well, I'd have thought because of the nature of the data system that actually West Ham would have to control it. But then who controls the ticketing for the... It's a weird thing, isn't it? Because obviously Ticketmaster sell the tickets. So the Ticketmaster harvests the data as well.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of things going on now. Well, nothing's gone right, basically, off the field, is it? I mean, you could throw in, the way the fans feel at the moment, players coming and going. Everybody seems up in arms. It's been a strange old pre-season. It's definitely been a strange old couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Leaving it to the last minute. Where's the third kit?
Oh. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't have my finger on the pulse like I used to. But
No, people.
You're right.
People know where is. Well, I know what happened to Leeds away kit. Apparently, all the containers fell into the sea in the Indian Ocean.
Oh, that's the same with ours then.
So whether ours was on the ship as well,
Oh dear,
and
oh
our
dear.
third kit went down. But apparently, there's a load of like mermaids and shrimps and whales going round in Leeds kit. And if they see a West Ham fan in a West Ham top, they'll swim up to her and go, "Yeah, but we'll bring more."
Yeah.
So the best pun I saw was apparently 20,000 leagues under the sea.
Hey, that is a good one.
That's a good one. And while we're at it, did you see the Southend Stadium malarkey?
No, what happened?
No? Oh, well.
No.
So in Southend, they to raise sponsorship money, they were going to sponsor one of the stands. So the local estate agents, who were called Gilby and West,
Right.
Gilby and Rose. I might give it away now.
Right.
Yeah. So they're called Gilby and Rose. And Gilby and Rose decided to sponsor the West Stand at Southend.
Oh dear.
So, and this is the bit. So they decide they want to let's sponsor the West Stand, and we're going to call it the Gilby and Rose West Stand,
West Stand.
or the Gilby and Rose West
West Stand.
Stand. So, of course, no one in the Southend commercial department, nor the ticketing department, because they printed all the season tickets and everything, spotted the mass murderer lurking in the middle of their sponsorship until it was too late and the cards were sent out and Southend fans go, "We got Rose West."
That's right.
So, luckily for West Ham, though, we got to cancel our Betfred sponsorship of our last remaining stand.
Yeah.
Before that happened.
West stand.
So, but yeah, it just goes to show you, innit? It's not just West Ham people; it's everywhere.
But it's always West Ham.
Yeah,
though.
but the best bit is the chief executive. He's got to come out, or the owner of the club, the owner who's not really well liked at Southend, funny enough. So he's come out. He's not even the chief executive, so he's the owner. He don't run the club day to day. He said, "Well, I feel sorry for him a bit. You know, nobody really, you know, in the commercial department, they're all under 30, so they won't remember her." You know, and you think, mate, everybody knows. Come on. So, you know, that's the thing, innit? So therefore, you know, you employ young people, you're paying them peanuts, aren't you? So you got what you paid for, mate.
Yeah,
Monkeys.
you don't pay them to think either.
No. Moving on, it's A.R. Sean Harvey. He says, "Hey up, gents, and a big Brady out
Brady out.
to start new season." He said, "Don't panic, Mr. Mannering. The team who strolled around in the pre-season," he says, "unfortunately turned up again at the £7 a pint bowl. It was a case of men v boys for the whole 90 minutes. We've got no complaints with the results." He says, "You can tell Moyes weren't happy. 2 changes at 60 minutes, which is unheard of. 57 minutes, if we're going to be precise there, AI, Sean." He says, "Disappointed that Diop's gone on strike. So ship him out ASAP. That looks like it's happening, Nick. Looking forward to seeing Cornet. Hopefully a step up from Ben Rama in terms of consistency and impact. And a left-back who can defend and cross would be lovely. I think you're harsh because we're halfway there with Creswell. You can definitely cross a ball." Whilst we're on the shopping list, he says, "Let's get Rice's repayments for next summer." Well, unfortunately, he joined Everton today for 33 million. And said it was an honour to go and play for Frank Lampard. There you go.
Who is this? Cody?
No, Anana
Oh, okay. He joined, did he?
joined 33 million today, yeah. And the bad thing is, his English was crystal clear. So, yeah. It goes on. Any truth in the rumours, the Stooge has been smashing up the pinatas on the beach as the pounds fall off him. More impressive is his eyesight, given he could see the new barrier by the away frames from his beach in Mexico.
Absolutely.
That was his minions doing his dirty work. Question for you guys. He says, and this is a funny question. I know it's early days, but are we missing Noble's influence in the dressing room and on the training pitch? I'm sorry for laughing. Sean's just texted me, "Please less of the tubby, Nigel." Dear, Tubby's got a chip on his shoulder. Well, don't worry, people. Will he be eating it later? Are we missing Noble's influence?
No.
No. All right. Okay.
I mean, I don't know that, though.
No.
We don't know what goes on behind the door.
No.
But, I mean, you also saying by saying that he's Rice up to the job when he's stepping up. It's different.
No,
it might be different. It might feel different. But, you know, it felt different for us, didn't it?
The only thing I would have said is that what I thought strange is where perhaps Noble might have been good is with Skamaka. So Skamaka's come over. The thing I couldn't get was he's not match fit. So this is what we're told. I can't start because he's not match fit. So he could have played in a friendly against Lons. He could have travelled, you know, to be with his teammates. But no, we left him walking around the food court at Westfields. And I thought, that's not good, is it? That don't show. Come on, mate. You know, I would have took him to Lons. Even if I didn't play him, I would have took him, put him in a tracksuit, sitting with the boys in the dressing room, on the coach, in the hotel, everything. I just didn't get that bit of it. So let's get rid of Sean. You can go away. So I don't know. I think possible, actually. I'd like to see Noble back at the club. I hope he has his year off or whatever, and that he is brought back. And I think he's got a positive attitude. And I've not watched the video yet, and I do mean to sit down and watch it this week, and I'll see what I can make of it.
It's very broad.
Is it? What do you think?
Well, it's kind of I quite enjoyed it, but it was kind of a West Ham update of his time there, really. Like I said, it was very broad. It wasn't too much about him.
Did it cut? And this is the thing. Did it what? And do you see why they made it? It's a bit of a strange thing for them to do, I thought, because they've banged it on YouTube. Obviously, what they're hoping to do is that the views will pay for it.
No, it won't. But I think that it's on YouTube because they don't want to pay for the archive, and they can declare they've got fair use. They probably can.
Well, yeah. So the image rights of him playing.
Well, it's Premier League footage, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know, perhaps. But as
part of the Premier League,
that's the
so
thing. As an owner,
they can declare fair use.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
if he goes to a different channel, they're not part of the Premier League, and they can't claim fair use. They have to pay for the archive. So it'll be. This is me and Sean was having this conversation a long while ago, and I was saying, about what's happening about this documentary, and what I said was there isn't going to be one in the way that what the quote was. West Ham were talking to TV companies about a Mark Noble documentary, and I persistently said to Sean, "No, they're not," because I had a conversation with someone at Palmer Studios about it. I said, "No, they're not. Be too expensive. Be too expensive." But it's a good documentary, and they have got a good. Although they didn't get to flex their muscles in this particular project, the videographers at the club, I think they're very good, actually. They don't get many things right. I think the videographers are good. The cameramen are good. The behind-the-scenes stuff's good.
Does it tell a good story? That's the thing.
For
me...
Well, how does it start with me? So
yeah, well, perhaps I'll bang it out on a few non-West Ham groups and see if I can get them to watch it. For me, that's the cut of the. Would a non-West Ham fan find it interesting?
Maybe he would.
I watch all these, so I've just watched the Brian Robson one. Robbo. I found that.
That was great, wasn't it?
Yeah. The thing is, and this is the thing, yeah, he was Man United, whatever. Because of what he did for England, we all loved him.
Yeah.
It was like Kevin Keegan. So before him was Kevin Keegan. Everybody loved Kevin Keegan. It weren't about Liverpool. I loved Kevin Keegan because he was captain of England.
Yeah, and he always done adverts with his thumbs up.
Yeah, and he fell off his bike.
Yeah, in Superstars.
You know, it's just things like that. And then it was Robson, Captain Marvel, you know, and he would run through a brick wall for, West Brom, Man United, but for England as well. And so it was... And we don't seem to have that now, do we? We don't seem to have appreciation of players that, to the point that if, we're booing England players now at England games.
Well, we don't recognise them. We could cross pass them in the street, really.
Yeah.
Funny enough, what you just said about that documentary, come to think of it, it might be for the generation sort of that didn't see him from the start. So that's probably why it does look like a catch-up.
Yeah.
The kid in front of me, well, he's not a kid, he's a grown man, but he sounds like a kid when he said to me, he goes, "I've never had a season ticket, never been down here watching them, when Mark Noble hasn't been here." When you think about it, there'd be a lot of people in that, and maybe that was...
No, but the first big retirement we would have had would have been Trevor.
I was thinking, Trev.
So... I mean, that was a fanfare, wasn't it?
Yeah, I wasn't there, but I'd done the Saturday game with the Clark.
Yeah, so and this is the funny thing about it is because of games being called off. The Everton game was played. I don't know if it was the Monday or the Tuesday. So we had Forest And when you look at the Farewell Trevor Brooking video that I put on YouTube, and it stunned me. I think it's had 20,000 views. So an old crappy video made, and that was the Saturday. So it was obviously planned, you know. They wake him up, his wife wakes him up with the kids in bed, and he's trying his house in Shenfield, and he jumps in his Merc, drives to the game. You know, it's a bit of a crap video, to be fair. But anyway, it's great, and you see it. And what you forget is, well, the last game actually was Everton, and the famous picture of him being carried off the pitch was Everton.
Yeah.
It's sort of a bit of a misnomer. It's like the last day of the North Bank, Southampton.
He was talking at an event, actually might have been backstage he was talking, but he said, I genuinely had no idea what was going on. We was in the changing room. We were getting a bit of a bollocking from John Lyle. You know, how we let the season finish.
Yeah, it was a bad end of the season. It did slide.
Yeah, and he said one of the guys was trying to get him out. I think Mr. Brooking, I think you need to come outside and see this. Had no idea it was going to happen.
Oh right. Yeah, because we didn't go.
No, exactly.
Yeah, I was.
No
down,
one went.
No, I was down.
It's come out 10 minutes after, 15 minutes after.
Yeah, I was at the North Bank. And it's a shame. I had one. My mum had bought me a camera. But do you remember the disc camera?
Blimey, yeah.
So I found some of the pictures recently from that night, and obviously I don't think it had a flash. It was well grainy. I think I'd actually found the photographs in a box because I'd got them developed. Only half had come out, and that was the ones I took early on at the start of kickoff from that game. So, but. Yeah, I remember I was down in the corner of the North Bank, in the corner by the chicken run. But I'd come in on Priory Road, and I used to stand there so I could get out early, because then I used to walk home to Barking. We'd moved to Barking by then, 84. That was the first season we'd moved to Barking. And I'd got a bus home once and wouldn't do it again, so I used to walk home. But yeah, it was funny because they opened the doors and loads of kids come in, like 10 minutes before kickoff, and then you're just standing there, and it was like an unsaid thing. It's like, we're not going home till he comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it looked like it.
Yeah, and it was a good. I couldn't tell you how long, but it's saying it probably was a good 15 minutes before Trevor appeared. The dumb thing back then, there used to be like a pitch invasion as well. You know, we all used to pile on the pitch at the end of the season as well. But we didn't that game because we were expecting Trevor to come out and do a lap of honour.
Yeah.
And the players always used to come out at the end of the season as well and give us a wave. And that was the thing, I think, because I think we got beat 2-0 against Everton. And I suppose Lyle weren't happy then. He was obviously giving them a bit of stick. But we were all just, I think we were singing We Want Trevor or something like that. Oh, anyway, that's enough of that.
Them are the days.
Oh, the good old days.
Purpose-built ground.
Yeah. Atmospheric.
Yeah.
You never had people going, oh, I want to stand in the singing section and we need to get the atmosphere going. You know, we didn't need to worry about that. We did it with 17,000 people. Evening chaps, says Grant Coxford, the Bicester. He said, if you could build a wall anywhere in the world, where would you build it and why?
Build a wall.
Brady out.
I'll probably build it down the right-hand side of my garden.
Yeah, if I could build a wall, where would I build it? Surrey.
The Surrey wall.
Yeah, the Surrey wall. Where's he live? Chesington.
Is that where it is?
It's somewhere around there. We could just build a wall. It'd have to be a big wall.
No, he's not going to jump it.
So, I don't know, actually. I know where I wouldn't build a wall.
Between 114.
Between 114 and the Wave fans,
115, yeah.
Next up, Michael Levy Jr., the soul singing superstar of North Tenerife. And the man that is entertaining tonight, Mr. Johnny Bucci. Because Johnny B and his family will be having a beer with me in the Soul Suite tonight. He says he's looking forward to it. He has got a question.
Ooh.
He says, which is a good one. By Moyes' own admission, we are not ready and we're not
ready.
sharp yet. So
We're not
this is what
sharp
Moyes
yet.
said. Michael says, isn't that his job? Isn't that what pre-season is for? I understand we've been unlucky with injuries and the new signings, but this seems like an oversight.
Well, we must have had a shorter pre-season, right? And Declan Rice only sort of come back. He didn't have a lot of time off. He had a fortnight off. So I can understand what you're saying, but I think to be ready, we'd have had to have done all the transfers a couple of weeks ago. All of them. Because we're never going to be ready until we know who we're going to play with. And I'm not sure there was too much problem with the fitness. It's just that they haven't got any pace anyway. And now they haven't got much of a plan. So we're planless and paceless. So we're just hoping for good quality of football to pay off. And that won't go out against Man City. But we don't look ready.
No.
Maybe a goal will knock us into gear. A goal. Yeah,
Do you think he was almost treating the Man City game like the last pre-season game?
Felt like it, didn't it?
It did have that feel to it. It was more like a Betway Cup.
It was like a Betway Cup.
So, I don't know. Perhaps he sees it all systems go, 37 game league this year. Next up is Andrew Hall. It says, evening, chaps. Hope you're all well. What's going on at the club? He says, Diop and Vlasic. Possibly Ben Rama going, making our paper squad even smaller. It's funny how quick we get rid of players, but takes so long to bring them into the club. He's fully expecting a tough frustration season now. Brady out.
Brady out.
3 outs.
Brady out. Brady out.
So,
you walled him in. Look, he's put from Dawkins. Sorry, I just saw this.
Yeah, well, no, I didn't wall him in because I put Chesington. I didn't go Dawkins, did I?
You said sorry.
He's got to go and see Brenda. We couldn't lock him up.
Nah.
Anyway, I'm not sure that. I'm not sure what's going on. To be fair, it's almost like 2 seasons of success, but now we're into a transition club. And I'm thinking, what are we transitioning from then? So perhaps this is Moyes beginning to... Because if you think he came in with a lot of these players and got a tune out of them, but they weren't his players.
It's like we need to be a new model of a car.
Yeah.
Like a new Cortina.
Yeah.
Everyone was happy with it. Can't keep the same Cortina.
No. At some point, we've got to be a Sierra, though.
Oh, fuck. It's not something to look forward to, is it? You have to wait for the Codsworth, and that's it.
Oh, dear. Yeah. It's the Rocking Vicar in the Royal Green Jackets. I think that's his troop. He's back, people. Well, I think he's still on manoeuvres, to be fair. But serving his country well. It's Mr. Chris Kinch. Evening all, he says, as disappointed as we were on Sunday, is it a sign of just how good we've been under Moyes in the last 2 seasons that we are disappointed to get beat by a team with a budget as big as Man City's? He says, thanks as always for the podcast. I don't know about we're disappointed, Chris.
No.
I think it's more, it's not, I don't know. I can't say I was disappointed.
No, me neither.
It was like, well, it was better than I thought, actually. Because I thought we've been smashed 4s and 5s.
Goals
yeah,
better than us, didn't they?
Yeah, and with Haaland, I think we were lucky they weren't in top gear. Yeah. So perhaps, we'll see. Miriam Williams, the Welsh wizard, says, I know you should never look a gift horse in the mouth, but how funny was it to see West Ham give free he's put Wally. Walls with 2 L's. I don't know if this is the Welsh spelling. Put Wally scarves. How funny was it to see West Ham give free woolly scarves out on a day when it was 20? Did they really?
Were they giving free scarves out?
Oh, my life. There you go. Odd that the Berlin Wall wasn't in any of the photos of our new seats in the West Stand lower. Was this an oversight? Did it not make the CGIs of the new... that's a good point. Will the Stooge be attending any games this season, or he's just going to borrow other people's photos? Well, I think that way he can pretend he's there, because he may come back from Mexico. He may be in the country for the European game. But then he's quickly disappearing back to holiday number 6 of the year. And then he says, any idea why we're being charged a substantial amount for the conference game when the board are getting the use of the stadium for free?
Greedy, I'll give be my answer.
I can cover that BBC article, if you read it, about them getting the stadium for free for these games, because that game is not strictly true, because we pay for 25 games. So the first 25 games we don't pay for. So that's 19 Premier League games. Then we get 6 other games after that. Now, these games will be covered then. So the problem becomes is that if you start getting drawn at home in the League Cup, and if you start getting drawn at home in the FA Cup, as well as in Europe. Because at the moment, we're guaranteed... Well, not guaranteed. We've got to beat the Danes. But if we beat the Danes, that's 1 home game. But if we beat them, that's another 3 home games. So now we're on to 23 home games. So that gives us another 3 league games. Or 3 games before we have to start paying. So don't believe everything the BBC writes.
Yeah, it's not like it's our own sort of... broadcasting corporation. You shouldn't believe it.
No. Unfortunately, they do go down the gutter route every now and again.
Yeah.
Next up, it's Dodsy. All right, my handsomes, how you's doing? In the words of Donald Trump, build that wall, build that wall, build that wall.
And they did.
And who will pay for it? The fans will pay for it with their emotions and lack of atmosphere. Anyway, says back to the questions. Do you feel instead of weighing, it should be a measurement of Sean and Nigel's waist and then work out what percentage that is to their height, which is the true measure of who is overweight the most? That's a good idea. Well, Dodds, you've heard me say, I think it's a bit harsh. I am handicapped because I am 3 inches bigger than him in more ways than one.
It sounds like you're admitting defeat when you say that.
Well, I know, and we've had a chat, innit? And frankly, you know, it'll be what it'll be. And if I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. I'm not that bothered. Am I dieting? No.
You know?
I'm not. No. I've had a Chinese tonight.
What did you have?
A chicken chow mein and chips.
Very Chinese.
Yeah, very Chinese.
That's typical of you. Chips and curry, that's what I had.
Well, yeah, I had curry sauce as well. It's the same thing I've been eating since I was 8.
It's nice though, isn't it, that?
Just chicken chow mein.
It's a nice thing.
You know?
Not Chinese at all, but you know.
Hold up. I did have chicken balls as well.
Nice.
And because my wife bought it, and she doesn't realise they do a half portion of chicken balls, she bought the full portion of chicken balls.
Right.
So that meant I got 4
Nice.
instead of me 3. So yeah, that's how I tucked in. Yeah, had a kebab Saturday night.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I had a kebab I had a kebab.
Yeah. All right, yeah.
I had a shish a couple of times.
I didn't get to eat Sunday because it was an absolute mare around the ground and everything.
Yeah, it's problematic.
Yeah. He says, what's been the biggest fiasco? I'll let you answer this. So, is it the wall? Is it the away ticket office fiasco? Is it the scouting network, head of recruitment, or our recruitment policy? And he finishes it with Len. Brady out.
Brady out.
What is it? Have you got a biggest fiasco of the season so far?
There's lots of fiasco, isn't there? There really are fiascos. I'm trying to think. I think the ticket, the digital ticket, was a piss take. That was blatant. That was a blatant attempt to have a go at social engineering, if you ask me. Sorry for hesitation. It needed to be the proper phase because I think it is.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it as well. I'm feeling as a Generation X supporter, like I keep saying, the local regular. I think nothing's sort of set up for me there. And the fiasco with the bleating, the last drop letting the supporters club down, that was a massive fiasco.
Yeah. The thing about it for me, what's weird is that it's become a day now, and the thing is, it never was. And look, I get it, people, whatever, but it was never a day to me.
No,
it was always half a day.
Yeah.
And now, you know, I leave my house at 2:00 and I get back at 10:00.
Yeah.
And
which is why it seems to set up for, you know, the fan that isn't that regular. Because they take the day out, it's their day out, they know they look forward to their day out, and the sooner they start the day out, the better, which makes sense.
Yeah. Oh,
but for us who need to feel like we should get something done,
yeah,
or rather feel like we're pissing the day up.
Well, I started watching the train wreck, the story of Woodstock '99, and it was so engrossing. When I saw the lineup, you know, when they were going through the lineup, I looked at my missus and went, "Oh, this did not go well." you know, it was the most un-Woodstock lineup you've ever seen in your life. If they were trying to evoke...
Not peace and love between us.
Well, no, you ain't getting peace and love from Limp Bizkit, Korn, Kid Rock.
No.
I'm not sure how that crowd took to Willie Nelson on the Sunday afternoon. But then what we're going to do is we're going to give them 20,000 candles to finish the night.
That'd be good,
It went damn well. Check it out, people. Trainwreck on Netflix. It's good because I can show my kids and go, well, you see all that chaos down there. I used to enjoy like that. Vlasic still would be alone with an obligation to buy. An obligation to buy. He's obviously in Mexico texting. There you go.
Wow.
That's it. That's all that's flashed up. So I don't know what group
he's going.
So it looks like Vlasic is going. You heard it here first, people. Eyes.
Probably.
Shouldn't do that. Barry Meikle says, "Evening, gents, from everyone's second favourite Canadian-based listener." Oh, that's harsh, Baz. We do like Palumi, though. Only we can start a season with a weaker side that finished the last and be 100 million quid down for the privilege. I have my own thoughts on the new partition between the home and away fans, but does it actually obscure anyone's view? Well, this is a point that Dodsey did make in a message, and I did make the point back that it don't actually give you a restrictive view of the pitch. Just away fans, basically. I don't know any ground though that's got that.
You do now.
That is a unique feature, isn't it? You know, if they're struggling, what's unique about the London Stadium? Well, it's got two things now, isn't it? It's got the gaps. That's pretty unique. And it's got the wall.
It's got the wall.
I think we're going to call it the Brady Wall, though, aren't we, now?
I like the Brady Wall.
I like the Brady Wall. He's got a probable question with the Stooge. He's not here. You didn't read it, did you, Baz? But do the club have any say in the prices charging the ground for food and drink? Well, I can answer this. He says, I know the contract is with Delaware North and arranged by the stadium owners, but surely the club have some say in how much is being charged. Brady out.
Brady out.
Well, Baz, actually, Delaware North's contract specifies, or the agreement specifies, concession agreement, says that they have to be... They have a marker, and basically it's like the stock market. They're tracked against the prices of the other top London clubs.
Allegedly.
So we cannot charge more than what they charge at Chelsea, Arsenal, and Spurs.
Although reason to believe that we are.
Well, there is a funny thing here, because now we've got to be able to prove it, but it does seem that we are dearer than those clubs. Tottenham weren't at home, though, were they? Or were they?
Yeah, they were on Saturday.
I don't. Yeah. I'll have to find out. I'll have to ask my mate. My mate who goes to Tottenham's not about at the moment. He's on holiday, so when he's back, I'll have to ask him what they pay. But then again, Tottenham got their own brewery, so they make it themselves, don't they? He says also, where can I post questions for this Twitter? Facebook is pissing me off.
Oh Christ! You don't go on Twitter, then?
All right, Baz. Well, if you check out you can either tweet me, my WHUFC. That's my Twitter line. Obviously, you've got Canning Town Len. More Than Just Podcast has got a Twitter feed. You can tweet that as well. Though if I'm reading it out, I ain't got access to More Than Just Podcast Twitter account. So you're better off tagging them and me in, and Len.
Yeah.
So
more the better.
Yeah. So, and then if you really push comes to shove, you could tweet Sean at West Ham Football, but I don't recommend it because apparently he's retired and he don't go on now.
No.
Much. Cheeky Lines is back. Evening, gentlemen. Good to have you all back. He said, "Well,
we're not all back.
Well, no, it's just the two of us. Well, the ones that could be bothered.
Star.
Yeah. The riff raff. Well, technically, we're the out of towners.
Well.
Because, isn't it? We're not the Surrey boys. It's their podcast. We're just holding the fault. Never thought of it that way, have we?
It's very much like the Sugar Babes, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah. Or what about the Drifters?
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, I remember going to see them, and I don't think any of them were original.
Yeah. Not bad. Boney M.
Yeah, Boney M. Yes. Oh dear! Who were the ones that used to mime and won Grammys? I can't remember who they were.
Milli Vanilli.
Milli Vanilli. Yes, there you go. He's got to admit Cheeky's said he's got to admit he's disappointed by the negativity from the fans after one game against the champions. Champions 4 times in the last 5 years. People.
Has there been negativity?
Yeah.
The
thing is, if you spend a lot of time on social media, you think that's the norm. It ain't the norm. Most of us couldn't give a monkeys. I do enjoy social media. I ain't gonna lie. I do enjoy Twitter. I do, and it's weird. But the price list that I tweeted of the board of the costs of drinks had like nearly 1,000 likes. Loads of Everton fans and everybody commenting. And I must admit, I was a bit naughty because that came from a concert. But
I wonder why.
I was under the impression that the prices were not far off of those, and it turned out to be true. I took a bit of a gamble, and it paid off. If
you think lots likes is something paying off.
If you think, what I'm saying is, I didn't get egg on my face. Basically, someone called me out over it, and as Chrissy Mills pointed out to him, are you really calling us out for over 30p, mate? Because they still went up £1. It was still over £7. It wasn't even £7 a pint. It was £7.20.
Well, one was £7.60, I think, wasn't it?
On the board. This is the thing. I think they've actually gone to different prices for different beers. So I think it depends where you were in the ground to what you paid.
Yeah.
Cheeky carries on. He says, I noticed one West Ham Facebook gloating about Lingard and his overall performance. Have we really become that sad and bitter? Well, it does seem so. I don't get it myself with the Lingard thing. Just crack on. Some of these so-called fans need to look at themselves. He said, rant over, he says.
A lot of them need to look at themselves.
Yeah. He has got a question, though. What do you think of our transfer business? He's pleased with it. It seems a tough transfer window when you're competing with the other top clubs for top players. Let's hope this weekend we can kickstart our season. I mean, for me, everybody's got the same amount of money, roughly, haven't they? So that's we're competing with the Newcastles, the Evertons, the Aston Villas. For some reason, not the Leicesters though. Who knows what they're doing? Oh, that's the one that Chelsea are looking to pay 80 million for. Fofana.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't really. I find it difficult to comment on a transfer window until it's done.
Yeah. Oh, it's never until I don't understand it, and people come out and go, at the moment, I'm giving this window 4 out of 10.
No, I don't
You think,
understand.
can you give it anything? The window's not shut.
No, I
So
don't know what could have.
it's like going up to shut a window and just shutting it halfway.
Yeah,
There you go. I've not closed the window yet. I'll shut it later in a month's time.
yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because Johnny Osborne, then the cabbie of Romford, the Stepney cabbie, I'll call him, because he's not really from Romford. He just lives there. Are West Ham fans becoming fickle? He says, with a capital F, and unrealistic with, in particular, the transfer window and who we can actually attract.
Yeah,
Yes.
they are.
I think we've got an overinflated. I think the fan base, a lot of the fan base has an overinflated imagination of the position they think West Ham should be in.
Yeah. Caused by the owners and the stadium move,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. Right. So this transfer seems to be the big thing. But Dan Perry though, from Beverly Hills 85210 says facilities are always bad, but Sunday was embarrassing.
It was embarrassing.
He says, imagine enough people will have been put off, and it might be better with Brighton with a lower attendance. This is the thing. You think when we first went there, people, 54,000. We've now got to 62. That's an extra 8,000. Now, if Hammers United, I believe, 10,000 old school walks away. So that's another 10,000 newbies. All leads to chaos.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is what the club wanted when they left. I don't. But, it is what it is. I'll stop there before I say something I'll regret. Ziggy Stardust, Davy Jones, he said, evening all, he says, it's an interesting start to the season, which could have been a lot worse. Given the negative comments around the price of beer in the LS, do you think a boycott would A, actually happen, and B, make any difference?
A boycott to purchasing the beer?
Yeah.
Well, it would.
So
It would. If absolutely no one bought it, which is never going to happen,
Yeah.
then they would reduce the price.
Yeah. So A, do I think it will happen? Actually,
No.
you should have asked that the other way round. So let's go. A, will it make a difference, a boycott?
Yes.
Yes, it will. B, will it happen?
No, it won't.
No, it won't. I did myself. I boycotted paying. I'd like to thank Fitz for buying my beer to celebrate his birthday. It was very kind of him, and it was great to catch up with him and Ryan. So, and he's a big fan of Amma's chat. His old Fritz.
Good old Fritz.
He's one of the nicest people you will ever meet.
Is he a German? Is he one of you?
No,
German?
he's not. Forest Gate boy, I believe.
Ah.
So
I know Fritz. I think I've drawn Fritz and his son.
yeah, Ryan. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. I called him Fritz. I shouldn't have. It's Fitz, actually.
Oh, okay.
I added the R.
Yeah, it is Fitz, I
You've
think.
just done him. Is he German? That's
Ah,
cool.
you added the R.
He is going to be German now when I'll see him next time. Well, we all used to sit together at Upson Park. There was a crowd of us. So he was in the row behind us. I remember when Ryan was a little boy, a little teeny weeny. Next up, it's Stelios, who's been texting like mad in the group chat. Stel, give it a rest, will you, son? How do you feel, he says, if we end up with a smaller squad? I couldn't give a monkey, Stel, but I've probably told you that in the group chat. How would you feel if we had a smaller squad?
Not my squad to pick from.
No.
It won't bother me. If it was better,
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind it being smaller. And
Uh,
if we used some younger talent that ain't even young anymore,
yeah. Well, how old's Conor Coventry, I think.
he's 23, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's the same age as Declan.
Good God.
That's the thing, isn't it? I was talking about this with my mate Sunday. It's like, what, like that. Elise, 21, 22. We let him go to Sunderland. It's it's. I don't know what our academies create. I get it. You can call yourself an academy if you're producing players, but if the ultimate aim is to produce players for the first team, I don't know. I think perhaps I need to look at how many other clubs have got their academy players in their team. How many players in the Premier League went through the Premier League academy system, and how many actually went through lower league systems and been brought in, or went through a foreign youth system, not as organised academy? Because I could make an argument. I reckon I could make an argument that actually academies are a waste of money. The academy system has not succeeded in its long-term aim. Because if there's more foreigners of an English football, and actually some of them, if you look at Antonio, never done academy. You took a Bowen, never done academy. Like top academies. So Declan did. Creswell didn't, because he was at Tranmere. So if we're looking at the English-based players, what they came through, not many of them actually came through a Premier League academy. So, Paul Turton, evening all, he says. He's watched a review of the year when Blackburn won the Prem in '95. We held Man U to a 1-1 draw, 13th of May, people, 1995. On the final day, he said, I remember it clearly because he was sat in the Trevor Brooking upper. Would have been called the centenary there, but I'm not splitting hairs with you, Paul. Any of you lot got any stories or memories from that match?
Is that the one where Ludo was kicking that all day?
Yeah.
I was just laughing at that after doing that goal.
Yeah. Absolute madass, that game.
It was a madass.
That was a madass.
It's one of my favourite games. It's crazy that, it was just a draw, really, at the end of the day. But it was a madass because anticipating the game a few weeks before, you would have thought that we could have... Didn't we beat Liverpool the game before that? Was that same season? But I remember thinking, well, they could send us down. We didn't think we'd be in a position.
I think we were mid-table. I think the Liverpool, when we beat Liverpool, was the season before.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
So this was the first season of Harry. This 94, 95.
We did get out of trouble.
Yeah.
I know we
had a late run.
Yeah. But I remember thinking, everyone was looking at that thinking, it could be down to win the league and us to go down. But we weren't in that position at all. And we watched that game. Well, I watched it with an amount of security of, devil may care. And Ludo was right in the mood.
Yeah, it was one of them. I think this was Ince's second time back at Upton Park. I think the year before was his first return in the 2-2 draw when he scored. So we had Ince coming back. You had them going for the title. Sort of Man United had started to become the club that everyone disliked. Because Man United was an indifferent club when I was a kid. They won the FA Cup. That's it. They didn't really win things.
No.
They'd be up there or thereabouts, but I weren't around as a kid when they were superior in '76. I remember, in fact, the first time I remember Man United was they got promoted back up after being relegated in '74. So the first season I remember Man United, they played Division 2 football. Even the Orient played them. So that was my memory of Man United. They were just grown into that club that people were beginning to dislike. This was, only the third year of the Premier League? They'd won it the previous 2 seasons. And they got stopped the hat-trick, Tony Gale won the thing. But, to be the party poopers is fantastic, isn't it?
Lovely.
And what made it better was Blackburn got beat.
Yeah.
It was... Blackburn needed to win. And if Man United won, Man United thought all they had to do was walk up. Michael Hughes was weren't he our goal scorer on the day?
Yeah, I think it was.
I
You
think
said
it
that.
was I remember he was like the signing. We got him on loan. I don't know if it was from a French team or something.
Strasbourg.
It was, yeah. I thought it was a French team. So we got him. And a great loan signing that we bought. Fantastic player, I thought, for us, Michael Hughes. A scorer of great goals. So, yeah, Paul, you, as I said, you was in the centenary upper. So, next up, we've only got 2 left. Gary Prince says, evening, gents. He says, I don't know, Gaz. This is a tough one. What's your thoughts on the stadium now? Is all this tinkering with stand layouts to add a few fans here and there worthwhile? This is the question then. Will it ever be decent, or is it a case of you can't polish a turd?
I think a lot of people think it's decent now. But I think a lot of people like me, I think you can polish a turd, but I think they're just not going to bother.
Yeah, I'm in the you can't polish a turd.
Yeah.
In the bracket.
They're certainly not going to make do anything with the turd so you don't step in it.
Right, yeah. Well, the only thing is that Sean does give it a good go, though.
Oh, yeah.
He buffs that turd.
Oh, he likes sticking up for the turd.
Oh, he does. Last up, it's Uncle Ted Sexton, Dave's son. Says, good evening, gents. He says, just to wish Phil Parks a happy birthday yesterday. For me, the best keeper. And he thinks we'll get 3 points against Forest. So Ted's going for 3-0 in the predictions. So you can represent the fans this week then, Ted. So that's 3-0 in the predictions. That's it for Facebook Twitter question time. We're going to move on to predictions.
Oh, no.
So there's only one game, actually, because it's 2 the week after. So Forest away.
I think West Ham will win 2-1.
Right, okay. 2-1.
I think we'll concede one.
Right, okay.
But yeah.
I don't think we will concede one.
Oh.
I think it's 2-0. So you got Ted 3-0. Ted representing the fans 3-0. I've gone 2-0. You've got 2-1. Sean 1-0. And I don't know what the Boochies will do. But anyway, that's it, people. Thanks for listening. I hope we haven't depressed you too much.
Yeah, well, you know,
It's
we're
a bit
not
of
the
a
fucking brightest, are we?
No.
You know what I mean? We're not cheery.
No, especially not after the Sunday we both had, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. We needed a dub yesterday. I wasn't even...
When possibly the game was the best bit of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it possibly was. That's how bad a day it was. But anyway, as always, thanks for listening. We wouldn't do it without you. And I don't know if normal service resumes next week or who's here, but someone will be here. Me and Len probably will be, and we'll see who else. If not, we'll have to draft someone in.
Yeah.
Can we find someone that's a bit like Sean? That's a bit difficult, isn't it?
Well, you're asking
that is
a
it.
lot
But
there.
anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you next week.
Bobby Moore, more than just a podcast. Bobby Moore, more than just a podcast.
West Ham fans, I'm often asked, what's the favourite team you ever played in at West Ham? Well, on Friday, the 7th of October, at the Rush Club in Romford, I'm going to be hosting an event and sharing a stage with that very team. It was the 1974 youth team that got to the Youth Cup final that year. It contained 3 players that went on to win FA Cup medals, 1 player that went on to captain us, and another player that went on to eventually manage us. This wasn't just about the players that made it though. It was about the friendships, the bonding, and the togetherness of that team. We're going to be filming scenes to a film that's been commissioned to appear on Amazon Prime that night. I hope you can join us. With that team, we'll also have Patsy Holland, Tony Carr, Kevin Locke joining us. If you want to join in, be a part of this night, come along, hear some great stories, see some great characters, contact Ian at E13 Events. See you on the night.